Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here. Today I'll be showing you some inspiration for 4 different festive houses, and I'll be showing you a tutorial on how to create this super simple pudding house. This first Christmas house idea is a big present. Now this is just one rectangle with a slightly bigger rectangle on the top for the lid of the present, and I've made it red and white stripy and adorned it with a great big green bow. I've also decorated around it with some smaller presents, and you can find a tutorial for these banners in the description below. You could also switch out the colours of these presents to suit your Christmas aesthetic. The next Christmas house is a gingerbread house, and this is a classic house shape with lots of candy adorning the roof and some gumdrops underneath the gables. For a tutorial on how to create this build, check the description down below. Or if you'd like something a little bit elegant, how about try building a candle? It's just a big cylinder with the side melting away a little bit and of course a big flame on the top. And I've decorated around it with some smaller candles as well as a candle banner, which you'll find in the banner tutorial. And last but not least, we have this Christmas pudding house. Now this house is a spherical shape and has plenty of room inside, and I've decorated it with a gigantic fork. This is a super Christmassy build, so I've also placed a little Christmas tree, some snowmen and a wreath around it. Now that you've got some Christmassy inspiration for some builds, let's get started on how to build this little plum pudding. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. You'll need to have a little bit of extra white concrete and a little bit of extra brown concrete on hand so you can make the drips and the icing. Here is the outline for the pudding house. You can see it's a circle with the front sticking out just a bit where the door is. You can put in an outline like this to help you build. The first layer of the pudding will go right around the outline with a layer of brown concrete. We'll be working up the shape of this kind of flattened sphere in layers. In the very center of the front, we'll have a glowstone block with red carpet. This will add a nice glow to the front door. For the second layer, we'll come one either side of the door, then 2, 1, 2, and then come out 3. 2, 1, 2, and come out 3. And continue this pattern around the circle. Since it is a circle, it should be symmetrical, and you can check you're building this correctly by looking at the other sides as you go around. For this next set of layers, I've marked in some windows. These are centered on these 3 wide sections of each of the sides of your circle. And I've done them with brown stained glass, and on the back, brown and white stained glass. Now we'll build up the pudding by going 2, 2, 2, 2, and all the way around, continuing this. And once you've got this, you can build up an additional 2 high, all the way around, building over the top of where we've got the door. Build over the windows, and just follow the circle. Here's how it should look. We have one more layer of brown before we move on to white concrete, and for this we'll have 3, 2, 1, and then back to 2 and 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. And from here on up you can check that the circle is looking circular, as it should all be symmetrical. You can see this from above. Now, before we put on the white icing roof, it's a good idea to put in your floor, which is made of some stripped dark oak logs. Alright, now onto the roof. The idea is to create a nice domed shape, so start by building 5 across each of these sides, and then connect the corners. So when you look from the front, you can see it's starting to curve back in. For the next layer, build 3 across each side. And now we'll connect these with a little W like this. For the next layer, build 2 deep and 3 wide on each side. And then you can connect these with a little corner. And this will create a little square with the corners chopped off on the very center. And for that final layer, you just need to fill in this circle 1 up. So here we have the basic shape of our pudding. So to really make it look like icing, it's good to add a few drips. So you can go back in and replace some of the brown concrete with white concrete, and some of the white concrete with brown concrete, just so you get a dripping icing look that you are happy with. And on the back side, I always like to have it kind of dripping into the window. The number of icing drips you have is entirely up to you. I think I'll have a little one on this side. And one on this side as well. Now we've got the pudding built, it's time to start adding some details, and we'll begin with the door. Add a step up to the door like this using some dark oak stairs and some trapdoors. And place a little Christmas tree or a spruce sapling in some pots either side of the door. Then create a little archway with some dark oak fences, slabs and trapdoors. And then come to the red doormat we've got here, and just behind it place your door. That way it's set 1 block back. Now to create a cute little Christmassy wreath above the door, place a glow frame with some sweet berries in it and rotate them so they're hanging down like this, and then place some vines just behind it by clicking on this edge part of the block. Oh, and doesn't that look Christmassy? And we need to add one final detail to the pudding, and that's just a little holly to the top. For the holly berries, use some red netherwort blocks, and for the holly leaves, some green wool placed at angles like this. It's a little detail that really makes it look like a Christmas pudding. I hope you enjoyed creating this plum pudding house and got some inspiration for some festive builds. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in another video.